Everyone. My name is Eugene Nicandri. I'm chairman of the Economic Development Power Allocation Board. I'd also like to welcome the other members of the board who are participating today, Dennis Trainer and Andrew Silver. I'd also like to welcome Power Authority staff members who are present in the White Plains office. This scheduled meeting is pursuant to the Open Meetings Law and has been duly noticed under that law. I would call a meeting to order under the bylaws of the EDPAC board. And we will begin by the adoption of the agenda, but first I would ask the committee members if they have any amendments to the proposed agenda which has been previously circulated. If there are amendments, they should be moved, seconded, and adopted. If there are no amendments, then I'd ask for a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? None. Motion carries. The agenda is adopted. The next item is the approval of the minutes of the meeting of March 4th of this year. Any motions to amend the minutes as circulated?
No.
If not, I'd ask for a motion to approve those minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed?
Aye.
None.
Aye.
The minutes are approved. Earlier or prior to this meeting, the conflict of interest list was circulated to the board members, and they've responded, and Member Silver has indicated a recusal on one of the items, which is reflected in the recusal notice. Now I'd ask Eric Bowers, Director of Economic Development, to present the next three items. Eric?
Thank you, Judge. Good morning to all that are in attendance today. Today the board is being requested to recommend that the trustees award 14 allocations of Recharge New York, large business retention, large business expansion, and small business and not-for-profit based power to 13 applicants. 38 applications were evaluated for this period, all of which were submitted through the state's consolidated funding application system. The applications included both retention and expansion based power allocation requests, in addition to requests from small business profit organizations. As in the past, applications were evaluated on a competitive basis in consideration of the 12 criteria in the R&Y legislation. I won't review all 12, but some of the key ones to note here are job commitments, capital investment commitments, and an applicant's risk of closure or leaving the state if they are not awarded an R&Y power allocation. Each application was evaluated and scored with the Regional Economic Development Councils providing input by scoring each applicant in their region relative to two of the 12 legislative criteria. The council scores comprise 20% of an application's total score. Prior to today's recommendations, please note that 56.7 megawatts are available to allocate out of 610 megawatts that are set aside for large business retention purposes. 88.1 megawatts are available to allocate out of the 200 megawatts that are set aside for large business expansion purposes. 1.3 megawatts are available to allocate out of the 100 megawatts that are set aside for small business and not-for-profit purposes. Today's recommendation consists of 14 allocations totaling 3.7 megawatts of R&Y power. This includes the following: 4 large business retention allocations totaling 1.6 megawatts and supporting over 540 jobs, 3 large business expansion allocations totaling 1.1 megawatts and supporting the creation of 220 new jobs, 7 small business and not-for-profit based allocations totaling 1 megawatt and supporting over 3,750 jobs. If today's 14 recommended allocations are approved, 55 5.2 megawatts will remain available to allocate for large business retention purposes. 87 megawatts will be available to allocate for large business expansion purposes, and 0.2 megawatts will remain available to allocate for small business and not-for-profit purposes. The awarded applicants will be offered R&Y contracts for a term of up to 7 years. The contract has provisions for the partial or complete withdrawal of an allocation if the recipient fails to maintain mutually agreed upon commitments. These are relating to, among other things, employment, power utilization, and capital investment commitments. In summary, the board is being asked today to recommend that the trustees approve 14 R&Y large business retention, large business expansion, and small business and not-for-profit based power allocations. This item is submitted for your approval, and I'd be happy to take any of your questions.
Anyone have any questions for Eric?
No?
I don't, Eric.
Okay, thank you.
I'd ask for a motion to approve the recommendations found in the materials.
So moved?
Been moved, seconded, I'll second it. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Eric?
So the second item today is in regards to Recharge New York power allocation extensions. So with this next item, the board is being requested to recommend that the trustees approve contract extensions for 30 allocations of Recharge New York power to existing customers. The recommend that the trustees approve modifications to the supplemental commitments of previously awarded R&Y extension allocations. All applications were submitted through the state's consolidated funding application, and an extension component was added to the Recharge New York application to allow existing customers to apply through the CFA for contract renewals. The extension applications were evaluated on a competitive basis in consideration of the 12 criteria in the R&Y legislation that I mentioned before. Today's extension recommendations consist of 30 allocations totaling 35.8 megawatts of Recharge New York power. Collectively, these extension recommendations will support nearly 38,000 jobs and over $1.4 billion in capital investment commitments. Today's modification recommendations consist of previously approved R&Y extension allocations requiring supplemental commitment adjustments. The awarded applicants will be offered R&Y extensions for a term of up to 7 years. The contract has provisions for the partial or complete withdrawal of an allocation if an applicant fails to maintain mutually agreed upon commitments relating to employment, power utilization, and capital investment. In summary, the board is being asked today to recommend that the trustees approve contract extensions for 30 allocations of Recharge New York power to existing customers, and also to recommend that the trustees approve supplemental commitment adjustments to previously approved Recharge New York extension allocations. This item is submitted for your approval, and I'd be happy to take any questions.
Anyone have any questions for Eric on this item?
No?
If not, I'll move the recommendation be approved. Is there a second?
Second?
Moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion
Judge
carries.
McAndrew?
Yes, Andy.
One question, the conflict that I have is with the POW Corporation. So
Right.
as to the vote on that item, I would abstain, but as to all remaining application for allocation extensions, I would vote in the affirmative.
Okay, Andy, thank you for clarification on that. Eric?
This last item is in regards to Recharge New York transfer item. So this item requests the board to approve the transfers of 4 Recharge New York Power Program allocations from Kraft Foods Global Inc. to Kraft Heinz Foods Company in order to address organizational changes. Specifically, transfer of 1,210 kilowatts of Recharge New York hydropower allocation for use at its Kraft Foods facility at 261 Delaware Street, Walton, New York, which produces packaged dairy products. A transfer of 2,520 kilowatts of Recharge New York hydropower allocation for use at its facility at 140 Spring Street in Avon, New York, which produces Cool Whip and Oscar Mayer Lunchables. Transfer of 2,476 kilowatts of Recharge New York hydropower allocation for use at its facility at 7388 Utica Boulevard in Lowville, New York, which produces Philadelphia brand cream cheese. And a transfer of 1,510 kilowatts of Recharge New York power allocation for its use at the same Lowville facility, although this allocation has not been placed into service yet. This is for an expansion that hasn't been completed yet. The transfers, which are conditioned on subsequent approval by the authority, will result in no material reduction in the base employment levels and capital investment commitments associated with the allocations, and each will be addressed in contract documents containing such terms and conditions determined by the authority to be appropriate to effectuate each transfer. This item is now submitted for your approval.
Anyone have any questions of Eric on this item?
No.
I don't. I'd ask for a motion to approve the recommendation.
So moved.
Second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Should reflect
Aye.
that Member Silver approves except as to Paul Corporation, which he abstains or recuses.
Correct.
Motion carries. I'd like to state that the next meeting of the EdPAP Board is for Tuesday, September 24th of this year, 10 a.m. By video conference. The Corporate Secretary's Office will contact us about our availability for that meeting. Unless the members have any additional business, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion to adjourn.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you, staff members and board members. Appreciate it.
Thank you,
Thank
Judge.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.